2 years out of your last full length, and with Live Nudes being where it is now out in the world, do you have an ongoing momentum now to get in and get the next full length going?
Interestingly enough, we recorded Live Nudes after we recorded a full length record. So we already were working, basically in the midst of working on a full length record. And we're like, let's just do something quick, and because it takes us a while to get our ideas out in a full record, in a full production.
Especially since we're producing it ourselves.
Yes, this is the first record that we're producing ourselves. We've worked with some incredible producers, so I think that those experiences were really educational for us.
A lot of bands seem to really appreciate that outsider element, to be able to sort of rise above it all and listen with fresh ears.
I think we were just kind of curious to see what would happen if we just didn't have like someone making all those decisions. Like, what just happens if we just like make what we hear in our heads, you know? It feels very kind of liberating, actually, not having another kind of cook in the kitchen.
A producer always has a voice, and their voice is in your sound. On our first record, Dave Sardi's voice is in that record. You can hear it so clearly, and I think on this record, it's our voice with our voices as well. There's aspects of it that I think are more honest and true to the way we actually hear our music. A lot of times when we'd be creating different sounds, we'd get really excited and we'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that was really fun to be able to do that, just the two of us. And you know, Tommy would come in and say, hey, why don't you put this lyric here or whatever. From time to time, it's happened.
Better not to hesitate. Jump on the things you know that you want when you want them before it's too late.
So much happens in the span of 2 years. Do you feel like the same person you were 2 years ago or 3 years ago when you were making the last record?
I think we're always evolving. I feel like I'm a different person from when I started the production of this last record. And I think musically as a band, we're evolving.
I think one thing that doesn't change is that we're constantly challenging each other and ourselves. Sometimes it's about playing what's right for the song, and then sometimes it's really about taking all these risks and making it difficult for yourself, because that makes it more interesting. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that, like, we're never going to be as good as we want to be, no matter how old we are, no matter how long we're doing it, and that's what keeps us going. Is because I'm not there yet.
In between songs, some of my favorite parts that I heard tonight, you know, outside of the songs, were when you and Tommy were just kind of messing around. It sounds like there's a very active creative energy among you guys.
Yeah, but we're always working on something new. A lot of times I'll bring stuff and I'll say, hey, what do you think about all this? And then we'll say, this is for Crash Kings, this is not. And, you know, we just kind of separate it out. But I think there was one song on Live Nudes that I literally did not want to write it on the piano, where I always sit down and I write, and that's just the way it is, and these are the chords, and this is the parts, and all that. And I came in and I play a little drums. And I went into the studio and I said, let's get a drum sound. And I just went down, I started playing the drums, and I said, Mike, you write a bass line, and then I'm gonna write a melody over that. And so it forced us to write in a different way, because I just wanted to approach it from a different way. Yeah, Shaking Like an Animal. And it's the first song on Live Nudes. And then Tommy came in and, of course, like, played the beat so much better than I could ever. And but it was a way to force us to get out of our regular routine. And a lot of times Mike will be playing a cool bass line, and I'll say, oh yeah, keep going with that. And then I'll formulate some melody ideas so that I can not so much focus on the entirety of a song, and then I can just really focus on the melody and just be that part of it instead of being the whole thing.
You know, when a band is on the rise, I think hardcore fans are really essential to, you know, the success of the band, in the sense that, like, they're getting word out, they're consistently coming to the shows. And I'm curious from your side of it, what your perspective on that is, and, you know, if you see those people, or if it's just kind of along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I interact with people on Twitter all the time, and they're like the nicest people in the world. They're always saying what's up, and then you run into them in a club, and they're just like, hi, I'm this person, and then you're just like, oh man, that's so crazy, it's nice to meet you. So yeah, there is always that interaction between fans. And then, like, even recently I went to go check out another group, and there was another Crash Kings fan there, and they're like, hey, have you checked out this other band? I'm like, no, I didn't. And then, like, coincidentally, the next week I went and saw that band, totally by accident. And then they were there again. It was like the wackiest thing in the world. So it's like, you never know who's gonna be where, who's gonna interact with you, and you never know, you know, where it's gonna go. And it's always nice to, I guess, interact with people. It's cool. I can't complain.
Well, that's what's fun about playing shows is a lot of times, if we're headlining, we get to see all these bands, and some are really, really good, and some are not as good. But every once in a while, you get a band, and you're just like, wow, these guys are really, really good, and it makes you feel like, wow, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and you know, we take note of the bands that we like, that we want to maybe, you know, have play with us again. And it's happened where, you know, we Imagine Dragons open for us in Vegas, and look at them now. You know, you never know who you're going to end up playing with, and so it's really interesting and exciting to see young bands kind of come up, and you know, it's a really fun part of what we do.
Patience.